Hello, this is Chris from MyStampLady.com, and I am going to try something I've never done before on a video, and that is the sample card is going to be different than the card I make. So what I'm going to do different is I had done this faux embossing with the leaf in the background, and I thought, well, let's let it highlight a little more by putting around the sponging. I didn't really love it. So I'm going to try it today without the sponging and see what happens and which one I like better. So let's get started. Okay, to start with, I need to use my Big Shot, and I am going to cut with the Autumn Accents die. I'm going to cut these two leaves. Now I want 4 of this leaf right there. So we'll make our sandwich and run that through. And there we go. Okay, so I needed to cut one additional one because for some reason my 4 did not come through so well. So I cut that, and then I cut a Cajun Craze leaf shape out of this one. So now I want to take this and put in and make my sandwich. And let's emboss this with the houndstooth. And let's see, there we go. Okay, just making sure I have the pattern right. There's a few of my dies that I actually like to use upside down. I, for some reason, like the impression of it the other way better. Okay, I shouldn't say dies, but embossing folders. So now I can set this aside for just a couple of minutes, and I need to go in and put my leaves in here. And I did the crumb cake on the crumb cake. So let's see, we'll put that one there. And put that one right there. There we go. And I'll just take scissors and trim off, and I find it works better from the upside down side, and trim off my overhanging parts. If there's any little spots after you put down your leaves that you don't like, you can take some of the trimming that are blank, they are too empty. Take some of these trimmings that I'm cutting off and just kind of tuck them in there, and it'll fill in those blank spots. There we go. Let's fix that up a little bit. There we go. And this is a faux embossing look. So what I mean is right here, it's a little bit blank. So all I need to do is take just that little bit there and just tuck that in there on the end. And it gives you the illusion of having another leaf right next to it. Okay. So the inlaid look, or the embossed inlaid look, is then after you put this on, pulling in my embossing, my Big Shot again. This time I'm going to use the chevron folder, and let's place that front right here. Now, if you're wondering how I'm fitting my folder through, maybe you aren't, but the new folders that came out with this catalog are a little bit longer, so they don't fit through your Big Shot this way very easily. I've trimmed mine down so that it will fit through sideways, because I never make, longer cards. I don't really need that. And in fact, in some of them, it doesn't even change or go into the design. It's just the excess that I had to trim off. So that's how I fit mine through. And so now I have a subtle, it looks like it's embossed background on my card. Okay, now I notice I have one little spot right there. I'm gonna put that down a little bit better. There we go. Okay, so there's my card base, and now I can pull in. I'm going to use these pieces of designer series paper. Just make the notched end on the back here, and put that down just like that. Do the other one, the more mustard designer series paper, and I'm not making a crease, just kind of folding it over so that I can get that notch out of the end. And these are from the pattern stacks, the pattern paper stacks. This paper is from International Bazaar, and I used a 2.5 inch circle just to place that leaf on. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to take in one of my strips here, and let's put our Thoughts of You from the Loving Thoughts stamp set, and this is with Early Espresso ink. I'll put that there. I want to leave some room for the notched end. And again, we're just kind of folding it over. You want to make sure they're even on the end here and notching that. There we go. And you can always just, like, if you get too much of a notch, you can kind of press it back down. And then that one goes in there. Okay, look at that. So now I'm going to pull in my leaf and the Cajun Craze ink with a little sponge dauber, and let's add a little bit of the ink color around the edge just to give it some depth, some texture there. Okay, and I just took this. I'm going to use a mini glue dot just because it will be a little stronger hold, and I just want it down the center so that my ends I can push up, so it'll lift up from the card front a little bit. Then I took some of these Naturals buttons, these Naturals wood buttons. I just love them. They're so neat. I have used so many of them already. And we'll add that to my card front. Okay, and that's how I did the faux embossing. And now I'll pull back in my two samples. This one has the stamping kind of, or ink brushed around the edges of the background, and this one does not. And so it's obviously, it is much harder to see these. And maybe instead of using crumb cake, we could use like Versamark. That would make it so that the brushing isn't quite as strong. But maybe you like it that strong and like the leaves highlighted like that in the background. So I made it two different ways. You can pick which one you like best. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me at mystamplady.com. And all of these supplies that I used to make these cards today are available in my online store. You can also find the list of everything I used on my blog. So thanks for watching and have a great day.